This is what happens when plants hide behind other plants. Now I don't know what's going on here. I know last time I watered this, which was whatever, 9 days ago, something like that, there were 2 rotten canes that I cut off. Well, now there's lots. These have gone at the base. So I'm going to take that, put that out of the way for now, get it out of the pot when I finish watering, and try and find some pieces like this that are green and get those planted up separately, because this plant's going fast and I suspect the rot is in the crown basically, so it's getting into the base of all of the canes. So that's a quick rescue job to see if there's any part of that that can be rescued. There's going to be some bits. I mean, there is a piece here that looks like it'll separate off, that the rot may not have got into. But we'll have a go at it later when I've finished. That was hiding behind taller plants. Now I don't know why it's gone like that. I mean, it could be it's too cold. But then it's, you know, hang on, did it survive last winter? I can't remember how long I've got it. Had it, rather. Anyway, I need to get on with my watering. I just thought I'd do that before I get it out in the kitchen, and or in here probably. But I need my bench clear, so I need to finish watering first. So I'll get on with that for now. Okay, we'll have a go at seeing how much of this we can rescue. If you listen carefully in between my rabbiting, you probably hear the robins singing. It's been raining and the sun's just come out, so very pretty song. Anyway, it's not going to get this hibiki sorted out, is it? It's dawned on me that everything I need is down in the shed. My green tray that I used to use for making a mess in is not only down in the shed, it's full of stuff. We used it to carry things here and it's not been unpacked yet. So I'm hoping not too much of this goes on the floor. Always put it back in the pot, I suppose. And this media is not broken down. I thought it might be, but it's not. It's still quite firm. It's actually dry at the moment, but fairly dry, not bone dry. But it smells Fausty though. It does smell mushroomy. But what we've got to do now is try and find pieces of the plant that are not rotten. And I think the easiest thing I can do is initially is just break it in half, because it's the middle section that's the worst. It's just rotted. So what we should have now is lots of pieces that will just pull off. These are rotten. They're rotten at the base. So it's a matter of what's left afterwards. It might not be much. So I'm hoping this piece is going to be okay. It's not as soft. But these 2 little pieces these are like kikis that have grown off that cane. Now they're okay. So we've got 1 piece so far that's salvageable. So again, I mean, that piece has still got green leaves, but the base of it's gone. Now what about this little bit here? Seems like it might be okay. No guarantees. I don't know what's done this, you know, why it would suddenly go, but I must admit from memory, my last hibiki did this. It was going fine and then just suddenly decided to keel over. So these are just old tired roots, there's no point in trying to keep these. What have we actually got here? I think the base of that large cane has also gone. But again, these 2 are like kikis. So I wonder if they've got any decent roots, because those last ones had signs of live roots. What have we got then? There might be something there that will grow. So there's a couple of pieces so far, it's not a lot. I'm working on green leaves. Where there are green leaves, I'm sort of working down through the plant. All of this lot's gone. In fact, there's nothing on this side of the plant. Nothing at all. How strange. So, a pile of rubbish and two little pieces that we might be able to grow on into something. Just put them like that. And they look like a reasonable plant. I know they crossed over, but it won't matter. But yeah, it would require new growths to form and for them to get going. But at least there's something. I mean, that's sort of salvageable. These birds are getting brave. There's a blackbird actually on the bird table now, and I'm standing 2 meters away. I know I'm inside, not outside, but they must be able to see me moving. So they're getting braver, but it's only a few. Still only the same few birds are visiting all the time. The blue tit and the great tit are out in the hedge at the moment. The blue tit looks like it's about to come onto the table, except for the blackbirds in the way. But same few birds. Yeah, he's going to come on the table, even though I'm stood here. He's come onto the hanging feeder. Quick visit and then off again. Anyway, I haven't got time to just freeze because there's a bird on the bird feeder. Right, so I will have to get myself sorted out for future repotting sessions, because quite a bit of that bark went on the floor, and that means I've now got to clean the floor up, you know, so I need my big green tray basically, or get another one, get a proper potting tray, because that green tray's actually got holes in the bottom, so it does make a little bit of a mess, and get myself sorted out. All my media's down in the shed. I mean, I didn't go and get any prior to doing this. Ah! Yeah, it's the same tit. It's a blue tit and a great tit again. It's the same two, I'm sure. And they come down, have a quick peck, and then whiz off again. And sit in the hedge for a little bit, and then seem to pluck up courage to have another go. But strange... Oh, I suppose you'd have to call it a friendship. Two different species. Mind you, blue tits and great tits will feed together. They will flock. But just for one of each to sort of establish what appears to be a friendship is probably quite unusual. Anyway, I've got to get on, so I will go and find myself some media and a little pot, and we'll have a go at seeing if these will grow. I'm wondering if it's even worth bothering, on the grounds that hibikis come round relatively frequently. Might be worth just waiting for another one. There's not, you know, these roots, a lot of these roots are not viable. You know, they're just going all stringy when you pull them. Oh, we'll put them in a pot, you know, and see what happens. Put them on a mount, I don't know. No, I'll sort something out. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay, I just decided to mount it simply because I've got a piece of wire here. There was a piece of bark, without having to go down in the shed, and the moss is already here. So it's just laziness. It's just quick and easy to just get this on a mount basically, and see if it'll do anything. I'm not sure it will. Not sure it will. But it can go on a mount with a little bit of moss and get strapped on and see what it'll do. And that's all it's going to get. That's the only effort it's actually going to get. I'm going to try some of this feather moss that I got last time I went out collecting, but not relying on that totally. I am actually going to mix in some of the more traditional moss. So we will have a mixture of mosses. So I just want to get enough on here to actually be able to strap it on. It'll get a grip, have something to grow on, in, around, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how I just got a feeling it's not going to make it, but we'll give it half a chance and see what it does. Right, it's a very thin piece of wire and it's a very long piece of wire, that it's what was to hand, as I said, without having to go down in the shed and start rummaging around, and being a long piece, it will allow me to go round a few times. Very narrow piece of wire, very thin. This came off of a mount that had a Tulumnia on that failed, and I've had a few losses within the Tulumnias this winter. Difficult to say why. Most likely lack of humidity, I suppose, because I haven't got the humidity here that I had around the other place. Not yet anyway. I mean, you know, come the warmer temperatures we'll get Hurricane Hector out, and that'll do the job. Right, that'll do. I'll just tuck that end up in there. So I haven't got my wire cutters, so I'll just bend it and use it. Just twist it round a couple of times. It'll be fine. I'm just using it up basically. That's not not normal. Right, so there we have it. Dendrobium hibiki, this time on a mount, and we'll see what it will do. This hibiki, this particular version, because the cross keeps getting repeated and it can produce slightly different results, but this one had small, relatively stubby canes compared with the previous one, and that's about as long, the longest cane that this version had. Well, as long as they stick to that or shorter, then they'll be okay on that mount for a while. And if it takes off and starts loads of new growths and some new roots and looks promising, then it can go on a bigger mount. But for now, that's going to do. So find a spare bit of ground in the hanging area. Just getting a bit. Oh, you can just go there for now. Right, so there we go. A sort of rescue, but the majority of that plant just got thrown away, and we're back to having a hedge. We haven't got the facilities we had around the other house now. I haven't got a plant recycling bin, a green bin. It's a chargeable service basically, so I'm not taking that up again because I won't have enough. And quite honestly, the recycling centre is very, very close to me where I live now. So, you know, when I prune the garden and things like that, it can just go in plastic bags and be popped round the tip because it's just up the road. You know, it's a 10-minute drive. It's just round the corner from here, with the dual carriageway helping me out for part of that journey. So yeah, small amounts of waste, green waste, will actually just go along the boundary in behind those bushes. They'll rot down like they did before, and larger pieces, which we are going to have some of obviously when I get at the evergreen parts and that, will get chopped up small, put in bags and taken around the recycling centre. Anyway, just a quick mount and a rescue that may or may not work. See you next time.